All right, we'll skip over to page 36. And again, with the outcomes and goals and all that, you really need to look at the guidelines and see what exactly the funder is talking about. Okay, 36 is where I have selected resources. The first one is grants.gov, and I'll talk about this later on. We're going to do a whole little section on that. The next is the Council of Michigan Foundations. You have a handout for that in your packets. That's a membership association of 400 grant-making organizations in Michigan. What's nice about them is they have a common grant application format. Normally foundations, all of them have their own different guidelines. But here, there are 50 foundations that accept the same proposal format. So if you have one project, you prepare the proposal in that format, then you could send the same proposal to any of those 50 groups, 50 foundations that accept that format. So if you feel overwhelmed by the federal applications and you want a simpler place to start, that might be a way to go. The Foundation Center, they have a cooperating collection at Wayne State University. The Foundation Center puts out all kinds of books and materials on foundations and helps you research them. So that's a good place to go to get information about foundations that might support your work. Yes?
There's also a website called Grant Resource that has a live, they have where you can talk to the person. Like if you have a keyword that you're trying to do on your project, you can talk to them online. I'm trying to renovate my church, and they will direct you to the types of foundation grants that covers that keyword, and they will walk you through that.
Okay.
And that website is Grant Resource Center .com, where I don't know if the foundation has that type of where somebody can talk to you online. If they have that, where you can talk to the person and you can communicate back and forth, and they run you through the grants. They have that.
Okay, and I'm assuming that people didn't hear all that. He mentioned that there's a website, grantsresourcecenter.com, where you can actually communicate back and forth with somebody, tell them that you're looking for funds for something in particular, and they will help you find funders for that activity. The Foundation Center has libraries. Now, in Washington, D.C., in New York City, and in several cities, they have a full-fledged library where I don't believe that they do that online, but where you can go in and get people to help you. But they also have some databases online that you can subscribe to for, they have different periods. I think the least expensive subscription may be like $20 for a month or a couple of months, where you can search the databases. I don't think that they give that kind of personalized service online, but if you go into the library that you could get it. Now, I'm not sure about with the cooperating collection here at Wayne State. I haven't been to, so I'm from DC, so I don't know if they have a librarian there that could help you at that site, but I would assume that they would. Any other? Yes. Okay, the question was, to apply for a federal grant, do you have to have an audit in advance of that? I'm not certain the answer to that question. I don't think so, but I'm not certain. They will, if you look at the request for proposals, it'll tell you what items need to be attached. I'm not sure that that's always required. And I know that for some organizations, if you're, with foundations, if your budget is under a certain amount, then they don't require you to have an audit. They just want a financial statement. But I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that with certainty.
I know the CDBG grant from the city of Detroit, they require you to have your health code, they require you to have the building code, they require you to have fire code,
Okay. He was talking about some of the requirements of the Community Development Block Grant, but you have to keep in mind that all the requirements are going to be different based on what the proposal is for. For some of these, there were requirements for the building, but if you're doing a program that doesn't involve a building, then you're not going to have the same requirements. So really, the bottom line is that you need to look at the RFP carefully and see what exactly that particular one requires. Any other questions?
The reason I mentioned the building is before you bring the programs in, the building, they want the building to be up to code. You can't get the money for the programs for the building, not unless the building is coded. You won't bring people into the building and have you working with them and your building is not coded. So that's why I mentioned the building.
Right. Okay. All right, I'm on the last page of this, and at the top is the Kellogg Foundation Logic Model Development Guide. Everybody should run out and download this tomorrow, because you really need that. And then the rest of the items are just other interesting things that may be useful for your organization. Okay, any questions on that before we move on? Oh, yes. Okay. Page 5. Right, that's a fiscal agent. Fiscal agent. A fiscal agent is when, let's say your organization is new and you don't have your 501c3 status yet, that you can get another organization that does have their status to be your fiscal agent. So what happens is basically they get the grant funds and then they give the money to you, but they're responsible for making sure that you use the grant money as you're supposed to. And they usually will charge some kind of fee for doing that for you.